You can be self-aware, but if you don't know what to do with the information that you're self-aware about, then what's the point of being self-aware, babe? When you have anxiety, you're living in the future. When you have depression, you're living in the past. That blew my mind. Watch like manifestation gurus and stuff like that. Like they would say everything you want is within you already. I'd be like, okay, like that makes sense. But what exactly do you mean and how can I apply it to my life? The same way that you can create anything, you can block anything from happening. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, I've been having crazy flipping downloads all week and I've been so ghost on my Instagram stories. So I'm gonna yap and get it all out there on the table for you guys as to what I've been discovering about myself, what I've been discovering about manifesting that I didn't know about. And hopefully this video will help you understand like what freaking blocks you have and why like you're battling between like forcing results as far as like what you want in this life and out of this life, and then manifesting. They're contradictory. If you're new here, by the way, hello. I hope you like it. And if you don't, well, you're lost. If you're here from Instagram or whatever, wherever, if you know me, hi. Yeah, I just don't really like manifesting as a term because it's just so woo-woo. Like now people have been saying it like so often, like manifest this, manifest that it's really just lost its like touch and importance. Sometimes I'll call it like rewiring my mind, altering my reality. There's basically a bunch of different names for it, but the core principle is that, you know, you are an infinite creator. Like you are creating the reality that you're living right now, whether you know it or not. So manifesting in general is just becoming aware of the fact that you are creating this reality. The fact that you're able to create your reality is being backed currently by neuroscience and physics. Like science is advancing so far to actually prove this as a fact. So if you still don't believe that you are the creator of your reality, and if you're not taking responsibility for the life that you're living right now, you're behind and everybody else is ahead. My journey with manifestation started very surface level, and I feel like with any topic that you really start to get into, it's almost like, imagine like going to a theme park, right? Like Universal. I don't know if you guys have been to Universal, but I'm just gonna assume that you have. You walk into the park, there's like this Rip Ride rocket, and it's like a huge roller coaster, but it's old as fuck. I'm pretty sure they're tearing it down. Like imagine you walk into Universal and the first thing you see is Rip Ride rocket, and you're just riding the Rip Ride rocket over and over and over and over again. You're like, I love Universal. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And then like you go with me, right? And I'm like, girl, like this isn't the only thing in Universal. Like Universal is over here. Like we have a whole park to explore. And you're just like, no girl, I'm at Universal right now. Like I love this. Like this is amazing. And I'm like, girl, you're gonna get bored of that real fast. And then you're gonna wonder where to turn. Like, let me take you to go see the rest of the park. And you're just like, what rest of the park? Like I'm at Universal. Anyways, you get the idea. That's how I literally feel about manifesting. And that's how I felt like my old self was, where I was just like, I just had this epiphany one day after going through a breakup where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm the creator of my reality. Like I have the power to change this. That's so cool. Like I'm an infinite creator, and I would just say positive affirmations. But then it's like you go through a hard moment again, or you come in contact with like something that you're trying to change in your life. And then it seems like you just forget all of that. It's really easy to remember that you're creating your reality when things are good. But when things are bad, then you're like, oh my gosh, you're frantic searching for a worldly answer. And I was like in this loop for the longest time. And I think I'm finally breaking through to realizing that like take the hard moments in life. I'm gonna take things that don't necessarily go my way so that I can learn and become an even greater alchemist in this life. And I recently found this out with my body goals, because for a little bit there, I reverted back, right? And I gained a couple pounds. But I was like, I really didn't even not like how my body looked. I think it was just the fact of like, for you guys, like I want to like show you guys that this shit actually works and that I'm consistently losing weight. So then when I don't consistently lose weight, then I feel like I have to show my audience like, oh, like, you know, I'm consistently losing weight, and like prove it to them so that I can help them. And it's like, no, like that's not the way that things have to go. Like I'm happy completely where I'm at, and like that's proof enough. And Leo Shkepi does a video about this that like really freaking inspired me. He talks about how like we make contracts in our head. If I'm going to create content, then like I have to do this, or I have to approach it this way. Or if I'm gonna make money, like it has to be through this avenue. Or if I'm gonna get to my body goals, then it has to be this way. And it's like we lock ourselves into this box, and then when we don't go about it in that specific way, then we're like, we just like give up, and we become so attached to the how of like how we're gonna get things done or how we're gonna receive things, and we build the contract with the how. But it's like you were never meant to know the how. You were never meant to, because knowing the how and figuring out exactly how you are going to get something strips away all the trust that you claim to have in the universe, God, and whatever. Like they contradict themselves, literally. Not say, I trust everything is gonna work out for me, like I trust the universe, and then go ahead and try to strategize exactly how it's gonna work out for you and then worry about it when it's not working out for you. Like that completely goes against each other. I really had to come to like understand exactly how manifestation works, exactly how my mind works, in order to be able to crack this and be done freaking worrying about the how. Neville Goddard, absolutely love that man. He talks about living in the end result, waking up every day and feeling the feeling of you already having what it is that you want. And now that's a lot easier said than done, but when we break down like the actual neuroscience behind it, it becomes so much clearer and so much easier. Start with the physics of it. This is Christ. Atom, right? The atom makes up everything. So when you take an atom, right, Newton and Descartes, they were the first ones to really establish the atom. They figured out the atom is the smallest molecule there is, and it's surrounded by these electrons and these protons that give it an electrical charge. They were able to basically make up the ideal. Well, they didn't make it up. They researched the ideal that these atoms, since we now can predict the electrons and the protons of the atom, that everything is pretty much predetermined. Like reality itself is predetermined, and we can break anything down to its core, and we know exactly where it is and like what electrical charge it has in essence. I'm paraphrasing heavily right now. Then Daddy Einstein came along, and Daddy Einstein was like, wait a minute, like let's research this further, because I don't quite believe that, you know, all of the rest of time is predetermined and that we can predict how things are going to play out. Like that just doesn't make sense. So he zoomed in on the atom and realized that the atom was like 0.0001% matter, which is the nucleus of the atom, but then the rest of the atom, where the like what surrounds the electrons and the protons, was 99.99999% absolutely nothing. So therefore he like kind of cracked the code and was like, wait a minute, majority of reality is actually nothing. Now, like in modern day quantum physics, what they've discovered is they've taken Einstein's atom and they've zoomed in even further, and they've realized that it's true, that the atom is practically nothing. They did a research, like they did a, what's it called? Not a research, a study on it. And they realized that any time that they zoomed into an electron or a proton, that it only appeared when our attention was on it. They were only able to prove that the electron was there when they were looking at it, but when they were not looking at it, it was not there. So then that goes to show you that reality in a way is subjective. And whatever our attention is on, that is what we are creating. Whatever we are looking at, that is what reality is. We take it a step further in the neuroscience realm, and we start to realize, by we, I mean just like all these people that I'm researching, we start to realize, well, if we're creating our reality, why is there suffering in the world? Why are we creating a reality that has suffering and all these things that are unfavorable to us that we don't want? If you think about like where we started off as like a humanity, we were constantly surviving, we were constantly stressed, which is fine. That stress is, we need the stress. But as we started evolving and stopped running from animals and things of that sort, those stresses started to come up emotionally. And now we don't protect ourselves from animals in the wild or from starvation. We're protecting ourselves from our own fears, our own internal fears. These fears appear and we're not even aware of them. Almost like when you're super stressed out about something, and it's like, you know, you're stressed out, but you're like, oh, I'm just stressed out. But that stress carries into days, weeks, months, and then you develop like a foundation of your identity of a fear-based thought. I started to figure these things out for myself, and I was like, what fears am I running off of? And I started to realize like these contracts that I'm building with myself when it comes to my body, when it comes to my finances, when it just comes to my reality in general. My big focuses right now and my big goals right now is like to get out of debt. Like I would love to be debt free, and I know that it's going to happen, but it seems like for the past couple years, like I've done nothing but continually accumulate debt when my goal is to be debt free. So I was like, wait a minute, like looking back on it, every time I think about money, every time I receive money, what do I think about? Paying off my debt. And I started to realize that my attention is full on my debt. And even though my intention is to get rid of my debt and be debt free, my attention is constantly on my debt. So then I started to think, how do I feel every time I swipe my credit card? And I'm like, I don't feel super good about it. Like it doesn't feel the same as like when I pay cash for something. I have this like feeling, like it's almost like an anxiety of like, oh, now I'll have more debt to pay. And the point is, I've created a reality where every time I associate abundance, I think of debt. Because my attention is on debt, right? Like my attention is on that electron, debt continually accumulates. And like the universe wants me to be debt free. But every time it thinks of like giving me abundance, it looks at me and it goes, oh, she wants debt. And so then it gives me more debt. How many contracts have I been building in my brain that aren't even true, that are creating my reality? So I really started to like dig and reflect, and it's like even within my audience, you know, I've been kind of feeling this pressure because it's like, I love my body, I love where it's at right now, but I feel this pressure of like getting to 120. Like first my goal was 125. Pretty much got there. I got to 126. It's whatever. But now it's like I haven't even gotten to 125 and I already want to get to 120. I preach that the weight on the scale doesn't matter because it doesn't. But I've created this contract in my brain that in order for my audience to be able to see that I'm making progress, I need to show them my weight so that they understand that I am the method. But it's like, I already am the method. Like I know this. So it's like, why am I trying to prove myself to my audience that they need to know that I'm the method when I know that I'm the method? I've already gotten this far. Hello. Like if they want my help, they'll take my help. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Another contract that I figured out with myself, I've been telling myself that in order for me to have the confidence in my product, I need to be showing it in a weight sense. It's not clocking, babe. It's not clocking. Figured that one out. And then the third one I figured out was, when it comes to love, I have always associated love so heavily with sex. Probably from past traumas, probably from being in survival and needing validation from men. I don't know. I noticed that every single time in my relationship, when I'm not having as much activity, I don't feel loved. I start to almost like kind of rebel and kind of like distance myself and kind of just like play this like cat and mouse game. But I paused and I was like, why am I doing that? I journaled about it. Journaling, this is why I haven't been talking on my stories, because lately, like how do I even go into all that? I'm going into it now, so that's what matters. Like I've been associating true love with sex, and then every time I don't have sex, I don't feel love. And then because I don't feel love on the inside, my reality again wants to give me love and wants to give me sex, but then it goes to me and it's like, oh, she doesn't actually want it. This point really truly created my dream life. But it almost seems as though every single time my reality slightly reflects something different, I go back to the contract that I've created before, and then it continually creates the same reality. Like you can manifest anything you want, but there is gonna come a time where all of a sudden you want more. And you don't want the things that you want because you want the things that you want. You want the feeling, right? The same way, it's not that I necessarily wanted to have sexual activity with my partner. Like, yes, I did, but like I didn't, like I wanted to feel loved. I didn't necessarily want money and abundance. I wanted to be debt-free. I didn't necessarily want a number on the scale. I wanted to feel trusted. These are emotions that you create from the inside. But the minute that I started to go outside to create these emotions, that's when you start to kind of just like have these breakthroughs and realize like, wow, like I am the infinite creator. So why am I creating something that I don't necessarily want? Am I denying myself the emotion of trust, love, abundance by creating these like contracts with the external world that the only way that I can get those feelings is by something outside of me? The whole concept of manifestation is about creating that vibration within yourself. It's about creating that emotion within already, and then you get to attract the external things that you want. Attachment is a big part of this. I figured it all out like on a mental and emotional level. I don't know how I'm going to pay off the debt. I just know it's going to happen. But in order for me to fully pay off that debt, I need to realize, A, it's already going to happen. Therefore, I don't need to figure out the how. I just need to know that it's going to happen. Like the universe always takes care of me. I always win, and it's going to happen. B, I need to create the feeling of freedom that I feel from being debt-free. I need to create that sense of freedom right now. The time I go to swipe my credit card, I need to catch that emotion. That like slight little anxious emotion, I need to catch it and be like, wait, that is an old rewiring thought that my mind is creating, and let me like realize this thought and understand that like, that's not me anymore. That you just say, that's not me anymore. You take the emotion away from the thought and you actively start to rewire your mind to be in the state of freedom, to be in the vibrational energy. And that way your thoughts aren't bringing you down low and attracting that same thing. At least 20 times a day. Like I'm so self-aware to the point where I'll get a thought or I'll feel an emotion. I'm like, what is that? That's interesting. That's not me. Or, that is me right now. Let me go journal about it. Once you start to understand yourself more and more, that's when you start to create your reality. At the time, like 6 months ago, where I was making fat bread, I was debt-free, but it all came crashing down. Why? Because I had manifested it momentarily. But the thing is, you can manifest anything momentarily if you just imagine it enough. But again, your identity and the contracts that you're building with yourself, they're almost like a thermostat. So like the universe will give you exactly what you want if you manifest it hard enough, but it'll take it away instantly because you will go back to your previous identity and working off of the previous contracts that were never broken. I'm kind of almost like in a phase of my life where I'm actually, the universe pulled me back and I'm actually breaking those contracts and breaking those limiting beliefs that have been kept me stuck and in this pattern for so long. And it feels so freeing. I'm not gonna lie, it's exhausting sometimes. Like self-aware girly to self-aware girly, it's tough. Like it's intense constantly having this self-awareness and being like so aware of your internal thoughts and emotions that it can almost feel stressful. To me, like I've learned to look at it like a blessing. And for the longest time, like I prided myself on being so self-aware. Like, oh, I'm so self-aware, like I'm good. But it wasn't really self-awareness. It wasn't really self-awareness. It was more self-criticism. Constantly criticizing myself, and I called it self-awareness. And then it just became so overwhelming that I was like, F this. And then I started like avoiding my emotions. Crazy. I actually just came to that realization on the spot. I have to journal about that. You can manifest anything, but in order to create the life of your dreams, you have to understand yourself. The same way that you can create anything, you can block anything from happening. So once you understand yourself and understand how your brain works, when are you stressed? When are you anxious? Where are these thoughts coming from? You literally can just like crack the code to your own reality simply because you've cracked the code of yourself. That's exactly the process that I'm in right now. And it's what I'm teaching my clients to do. And it's so crazy, you guys. Like, clients are really a reflection of you. If you're a coach watching this, like you'll understand this. When I started researching myself and I turned inward, I stopped trying to force answers onto them, and I was like, obviously there's something wrong with me because I'm creating a reality where my clients aren't seeing the best results that they could. Take a step back, and I fully analyzed myself, and I realized the same thing in them. They were so self-critical, but they called it self-awareness. Instead of being self-critical, you have to be open to that self-awareness, learn from it, ask yourself the right questions. So that's actually when I started to transition from just fitness coaching to like what I do now, which is helping women become the best versions of themselves and the versions of themselves on their vision board. Like, meanwhile, skipping all these crazy steps that I had to go through and just like being able to jump into that reality just by understanding these concepts. Gave them like specific journal prompts, and I started getting them to ask themselves the right questions, and I got them to start having these realizations, and not only that, but learning how to implement them into their life. Everything changed, but it's because I was doing it from within first. I had to figure out myself in order to help them and guide them along the way, and it was so crazy. So it's like I'm not even just seeing these realizations, these downloads, these changes within myself, but within my clients as well. Has been like so flipping fulfilling. You can be self-aware, but if you don't know what to do with the information that you're self-aware about, then what's the point of being self-aware, babe? That's just literally self-torture. It's not just about like knowing the things about yourself, it's about knowing what to do with the information. Okay, I have this information now that I've discovered about myself. What do I do with it? And again, that's exactly what I've helped my clients do and what I've done with myself, and it's been life-changing. Once you start this like journey of self-discovery and learning about yourself and then starting to implement, you start to get what I like to call inspired action, which is something else Neville Goddard talked about. Start to get these ideas, right? Example, in my business, I would be so stuck with content. Like, I wouldn't know what to post. I'd be going on my For You page and just like copying other influencers or copying the trends, but it didn't really feel fulfilling. Girl, itching herself, she has allergies. So stuck with my own business and just even in my body, and I didn't really know where to turn. But again, I was just like on autopilot. I was tracking my macros, I was going to the gym just because it had become a part of me, but not because I was actually being intentional with it. Once I started this like self-discovery, I started to get inspired action. And I started to get like these ideas where it's like I would wake up in the morning, and instead of just like going to go do my cardio, a part of me would be like, damn, like I really want to do yoga right now. Or before, when it was like 12 o'clock and normally I would just go make my lunch, I started to get like, I'm not really hungry right now, let's eat later. And these like inspired actions, right, is the universe giving you what you want. And manifestation has gotten like such a bad name because people think, oh, I just have to close my eyes and like visualize, and then I'll wake up tomorrow morning and I'll have the body of my dreams and I'll have $1,000 deposited into my bank account. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you still have to take action, but the action doesn't become hard because you're inspired to do so. Like pangs of motivation, and you act on them, and then that's how you end up manifesting what you want. And that's why people say, oh, just manifest and it's so easy. It's like, yes, but they're not telling you the full truth. Like, it does work that way, but you do have to act on the inspired action that the universe is guiding you to, right? Like, an angel number is supposed to tell you, okay, you're aligned with like where you're at right now. Like, this is a sign, like keep going, but listen to the ideas that you get. That's why like great artists like Michael Jackson, right? They would get an idea and they would act on it instantly. That's something that I've also been like really good at. Like, whenever I get a download, an idea, an inspiration, I act on it instantly. But anytime I've ever been stuck in my fitness, in my career, with my content, anytime I've ever felt like a plateau, it's always been because I've been ignoring those pangs of inspired action, and I've just been like going through the motions of what I think I have to do. Again, reverting back to the how things are supposed to happen instead of just accepting that they're gonna happen. I just have to follow my intuition and follow the synchronicities and the ideas that are being presented to me. That is what differentiates trust in where you're going and trust in the universe versus forcing and figuring out how exactly things are supposed to be done in the order that they're supposed to be done in order to get the end result. At this level, it can seem contradictory, like, oh, have this big vision and go for it and you'll get it and believe in it. But when it comes to like on a daily basis, like it can get confusing, it can get overwhelming, like, and I really had to stop asking myself, what would the future version of me do? Because that was a manifestation hack that like worked for me for a little bit, but that for me started to turn into like, oh, I want this thing so bad and the future version of myself would do this thing. So let me do that because I want the outcome. That is the exact same bad habit of not trusting. It's just disguised as manifestation terms. I flipped that, and what I started to do was like, what do I want to do? What am I being called to do right now? And then ask myself why. So for example, like I would really crave like maybe chocolate cake, like first thing in the morning. And I'd be like, you know, my goal is to get leaner. So that just like doesn't really add up in my head. So I'm like, okay, what do I truly want right now? Like, do I really want the chocolate cake? And it's like, my brain would be like, yes. And I'd be like, why? Why do I want the chocolate cake? That's when I would just like feel the emotion and the intuition. And if I was feeling like anxious or emotional, I'd be like, like I don't feel my best right now. Like I almost feel like I'm using the chocolate cake as like a cope. So it's like, instead of just like going to the chocolate cake, let me just pull out my journal real quick. Like I'll have the chocolate cake after. And I would sit down and journal and I'd be like, I feel frustrated. Like all of a sudden, all these emotions started to come out. I feel sad because of this and reason. And I would break it all down. I would figure it out. I would close my journal and all of a sudden like feel relief because I released those emotions. And my craving for the chocolate cake would flip and go away. I genuinely like wouldn't want it anymore. And that's when I knew that I was feeling emotional. But if I woke up and I wanted chocolate cake, again, the same scenario, just looked at differently. And I'd be like, why do I want the chocolate cake right now? And I'd be like, like I just really want it. And then I'd be like, why? And again, I would feel like I would analyze how I'm feeling. Be like, like I actually feel really good right now. Like I feel good, I feel happy, like, you know, nothing's really going on, nothing's bothering me. I just really do want chocolate cake. Like I'm just feeling that. So then I would eat chocolate cake. The next day I would get my period. That makes sense. So it's like, guys, when you have the self-awareness, but again, you ask yourself the right questions, you follow your intuition, but actually leaning into it, not just blindly being like, oh, I feel like doing this, that's my intuition. Like, no, like sit back and actually think. We don't think anymore as a society, I feel like for real, like we're just like scrolling on our phones or like distracting ourselves or talking to other people or asking other people for opinions. It's like, but like, when do you actually sit and think about what you're doing and think about what you want, you know? And so once I started to actually do that, the answers became clear. And that's a big reason, like just that analogy that I just gave you is a big reason why I was able to achieve my body goals by just listening to my body. Like that is what listening is, but y'all don't be listening. Y'all think listening is just like, let me just follow the first thought that goes in my head. It's like, no, that does not work like that. You actually have to get to know yourself, understand your patterns, understand why you're acting the way that you do. And guys, like, it's exactly why my body has never looked better than this. I've never felt better than this as far as like within my body. And I've been eating whatever the F I want. Some days I barely eat because I genuinely don't want to. Other days I'm really active and then I feel like eating. And because I ask myself the right questions, I ask myself why and what do I want to do? Not what do I have to do? What does the future version of myself, what does she do? No, like what do I want to do now? Because once you accept that you are the highest and best version of yourself right now in this moment, even though it might not feel like it. Why does it not feel like it? Ask yourself that, and then you'll realize, wait, I am at my highest potential right now. If you're watching this video and you've made it this far, like, you have so much freaking potential. You have so much potential you don't even know. Like, I didn't even know 2 years ago how much potential I had in order to be able to be where I'm at right now. But once you realize that potential and realize, okay, I have the immense power. I have power to create anything. It's just in my mind and within my soul. And that gives you the motivation to actually go in your mind and go in your soul instead of avoiding it. That's the thing. It's like you're either living as a part of this world and relying on this world and creating more suffering for yourself, or you're going on the inside and figuring out yourself on the inside and creating peace here. And that way, anything that you experience in this reality is a reflection of that. It creates peace, it creates inner love, and it attracts the things that you want. We're told, oh, it's bad to want things. It's bad to want things. You don't want anything of this world. That's a trap. That's a rat race. It's like, that's not necessarily true. Like, if I want something, it means that I have the potential to have it. Now I just need to figure out why I don't have it right now, and also why do I want it so bad? What am I trying to mask for the feeling? You're allowed to want things, but you have to ask yourself the right questions because the answers are within. I never really understood people like manifestation gurus and stuff like that who would say things like, everything you want is inside of you already. And it's like, on the face value, that makes sense. Like, you know, when you hear something and you're just like, okay, I don't fully understand this to its depth, but like, it makes sense. Like, for some reason, I feel like it's truth. Like, that makes sense. But I didn't truly understand, like, what exactly do you mean and how can I apply it to my life? This is exactly what I'm telling you. Everything is inside of you. Everything that's blocking you from what you want and everything that you do want, the answers are not outside of you. They're not like in a macro split, in a workout, in a business strategy, in a content format. Those answers, they aren't there. The answers start here. And then maybe once you go in here, maybe those answers are presented to you. Maybe those opportunities are presented to you and then you can use them as a tool. But those aren't the things that are going to get you to where you want to be and get the feeling of what it is that you want and the person that you want to create through those things. I steered away from the fitness industry, and don't get me wrong, I love the fitness industry. I think it's amazing. I just personally have grown out of it. And that's why I stopped, because it's like, me as a coach, I'm not telling my girls the method of how they're going to get their dream life. That's not what I do. I just help remind them who they are, and I help get them to a place to where they're self-aware and they know what to do with the information that they create within themselves. I'm not giving them anything magical. I'm just helping them find themselves again. And that's what I truly feel called to do. Like, I feel so passionate about it, and that's why I'm on here yapping, because you guys can obviously tell, like, I fucking love this shit. In this video is all the information that you need. Stop thinking that you need more information or you need anything outside of you. The same way I thought, oh, I need a detailed financing plan in order to be able to get rid of my debt, and only my debt accumulated. The same way I was like, oh, I need to copy this exact content format, and I still like wasn't inspired to make content, because there was blocks within me because of those contracts. When you follow inspired action, that tells the universe, I fully trust you. I fully trust you, universe. Like, just tell me what to do. I'm here to ask the questions. I'm here to find myself, and I'm here to follow whatever it is that you want from me. And then guess what? You become the highest version of yourself who has everything that you want. But you don't start by chasing the thing that you want. You start by chasing that highest version. That's where the disconnect is, babe. So much out there to learn. There's so much out there to learn. And for a little bit there, I was like, oh, I have it figured out. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I have it all figured out. Universe taught me real quick, babe. You don't have anything figured out. It's like, the more that you grow and the more that you learn, the more you realize, like, fuck, I actually know nothing. I'm actually just like a minute little speck in this entire universe. But at the same time, I am the whole universe. Like, anyways, that's another topic for another day. I've also ever felt like a plateau, or I've felt stuck in where I want to be. It's because I wasn't learning. I wasn't growing. I wasn't, taking on new information. I was just going day to day in the same exact flippin' routine, thinking that one day, I'll get to like this magical happy land where I'm just like completely fulfilled and at peace. And it's like, what on earth would make you think that? Keep on doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over again and thinking that you're going to get a different result. Crazy talk. My dad used to tell me all the time, insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. I was tired of chasing things outside of me. I was tired of looking for the answer or the strategy or the plan. And I started just looking within. looking within. Exactly what I help you guys do. I actually did something really flipping cool, and I went through my journal entries and I made a method workbook for you so that you could figure out these answers on your own. And it's actually dropping in like 3 days, so I'm gonna put that on my story as well for you guys. It's basically like an entire workbook asking you questions about yourself, asking you where are the beliefs, where are the contracts that you've written up with yourself that are just not clocking, that are blocking you from getting to where you want to be from that happy land, you know? Not to say that you're not happy, because you can be happy and still, you know, not exactly enjoy exactly where you're at. Like, that was me for forever. You know, people would ask me, how are you? And I'd be like, I'm happy, like I'm good, like the gym is good, my friends are good, my relationship good. If they would have asked me, are you where you want to be? I would have been like, no, not really. I don't think so. There's a higher potential waiting for you. It's waiting for you. It's just on the other side of you getting to know yourself and understanding exactly what's blocking you. And so, yeah, look out for that workbook on IG. I'm going to drop it in my stories for you guys. And I think it's really going to help you a lot. And I also added some other little goodies in there, like some little recipes that I like and things of that sort. So yeah, I really enjoy yapping my ass off with you guys. These are all the things that I've been uncovering this past week, honestly, since I haven't been posting. And I really hope it helped you guys. But yeah, that being said, the method workbook is coming out very shortly, so keep your eye on that. Follow my Instagram if you haven't already. I really love you guys. Let me know in the comments if I should talk about this more on my Instagram if you follow me. Don't lie, that's another contract that I've built in my head, is sometimes I'm like scared to talk about this stuff because I feel like people just won't understand me or I'll sound crazy, but I know I'm not crazy. That's what matters. So yeah, I hope you have a magical, beautiful day. Bye guys. Lila, come here and say bye. She doesn't want to say bye. Mwah.